Hello everyone, welcome to the focus line. In today's focus lines, we are going to discuss many articles which are important from the international relations, as well as one or two articles they are very important from the science and technology perspective as well as ethics perspective. So in today's focus lines, I have brought some articles where we are going to discuss. In first article, which is about Russia's new vaccine on the cancer. So it is very important from the GS2 perspective as well as GS3 perspective. So because it is mRNA vaccine, so it might ask in science and technology. In GS2, in the health topic, they might ask. So first topic is the Russia's cancer vaccine. So this is going to be our first focus line. Then second, we are going to discuss two articles which are very important from the perspective of GS2 and the international relations. Okay, so here we are going to discuss two articles. First is about the India and European Union free trade agreement. So we are going to discuss in comprehensive. Second is about the India and Israel. So if you are aware about the India and Israel has concluded first bilateral investment treaty. So here we are going to discuss bilateral investment treaty as well as the relations, that is comprehensive relation between India and Israel. Third article, which is I am going to discuss from the ethical perspective, that is GS4 perspective. So here I am going to discuss the Nepal GenZ protest. So I will discuss it from ethical perspective. So these four articles we are going to discuss, and all the articles I am going to discuss from the men's perspective. So we'll start our discussion with the first article, that is the shot against the tumor. This came in the Indian Express. Okay, it is talking about the new vaccine developed in the Russia. So the article is also discussing what are the developments, and authors become quite skeptical towards this particular vaccine. So why this vaccine came into news? Because the Russian, the one organization there, one company, that is Itromix, that is developed mRNA based cancer vaccine. Okay, so this vaccine is the customizes the foundation based on the patient's tumor RNA. Okay, so it is totally giving the personalized therapy because it is being a mRNA vaccine. Also, it employs a dual mechanism. So these are things very important if you want to write the what are the benefits of the mRNA itself. So you can use this as an example. So dual mechanism in the sense it will destroy the tumor cells. Okay, as at the same time it will activate the body's anti-tumor immune response. So this is the dual mechanism. First it will destroy the tumor cells, and second it will activate the body's anti-tumor immune response. So that's why it has the dual mechanism. Also the cancer it is going to target, that is a colorectal with variant in glioblastoma and the melanoma. So these are the under development. So basically it is focusing on the colorectal, that is digestion related the cancer. Also the reported outcome, the tumor regression, it is claimed that it has the 100% efficacy and no serious side effect. So this is claimed by this particular company, but there are the concern. Despite they have claimed there is 100% efficiency, the concern because of the trial size. So trial size, they used sample size that is only involved 48 peoples. So it is very small sample size, and what are the result, the claims they are doing now, it is based on the early sample, that is the phase 1. So it is involves only regulatory related aspect in phase 1, and based on this phase 1 they are claiming this particular results. Also this phase 1 trial, this primarily the same only because of the it assess the safety and it not long-term efficacy. So the phase 1 trial it only focuses on the safety related issues. Okay, so that's why the depending on the trials in phase 1 we cannot say that it is going to be 100% efficacy. So we need to wait for the what are the result comes under the phase 3, phase 2nd and phase 3rd. So the article is also important if you see the data from India. So the cancer prevalence in India, if you see, that is data given by ICMR. So the incidence of cancer is the around 14 to 15 lakh people. Okay, with the new cancer cases annually. So every year India adds minimum the 40 to 15 lakh people. So with the cancers. Also, if you see the prevalence 27 lakh people living with cancer at any time. So currently at any point of time there would be 27 lakh people in India who is facing this particular disease. So that is the one case is here. Also mortality rate, if you see, 8 to 9 lakh cancer deaths per year. So this is the very concerning when it comes to India. If you see the men, because India is the, it bears the second or third largest cancer cases in the world. And when it comes to the men specific, the lung, mouth, that is oral, esophagus, that is related related to stomach, and so the colorectal, that is related to digestive. So these are the some common cancer cases. And when it comes to women, the breast, cervix, uterine, ovary, gallbladder, and colorectal. So these are the common cases. In this one, the breast cancer and the cervical cancer, these two accounts the 40% cases among the women. So this is very concerning if you from the if you see the data. So next, if you see about this mRNA vaccine, this is the prelim specific. You all know about this, but just I will go quickly. I will give the glance to refresh your mind and refresh the whatever content is there. So mRNA vaccine, it is the messenger RNA. Okay, it is uses the genetic material that carries the instruction to make the protein. So this is about the mRNA. So the mechanism it uses, that mRNA vaccine, instead of injecting weakened pathogen, the mRNA vaccine, it delivers synthesis mRNA. Okay, so human cells that uses this mRNA to produce the protein. So okay, so basically mRNA vaccine, it don't use the weakened pathogens. Okay, instead it uses the proteins. Okay, so these proteins are often work as an antigen, and these proteins, it boosts the immune system. So it make the immune system recognize the particular the virus or whatever pathogen impacting on it, and it builds the antibodies or the T cell against this particular pathogen. So that is the about the mRNA mechanism. So if you see the features, what are the features? It is non-infectious and non-integrating. So non-integrating because it doesn't alter the DNA. Okay, and also it is very fast to design. If you see during COVID-19, Pfizer vaccine was there and Moderna vaccine were there. They were based on mRNA. They developed very quickly. So that's why it is fast to design. Also, there is one concern or the challenge here. It need ultra cold storage. Okay, so this is the one challenge when it comes to mRNA vaccine. Now, when you see the cancer, what is the cancer? Cancer is a disease in which abnormal cell grows. Okay, and this cell grows uncontrollably. Okay, that's why this particular issue happens, and these cells invade the tissues and they can spread, okay, to other parts of the body. So it is systematically make the body to dysfunction. So because it's abnormally uncontrollably grows. Okay, and also the biological basis, if you see the mutation in the gene, okay, controlling the gene growth and division. So it has the biological basis. So this is all about brief information that I have given and not explained in detail way. So you can see in 8 o'clock we will have the prelim specific current affair. There you can book taken by the Bharat sir. There you can learn all these things aspect. Okay, so we'll focus mostly on the men's perspective. So second article is about the India-European Free Trade Agreement. Okay, so when it comes to the India-European Free Trade Agreement, so there is the two-way good trade stood between. The context is that currently India and USA, they are holding 30th round of talks. So it is currently going underway in New Delhi. Okay, so currently they have finalized the 11 chapters. Okay, so if you see the historical contents or the regular trade, which stands between the around the $137 billion in financial year 23 and 24, it makes the European Union India's third largest trading partner after US and China. So that's why this become very important. Okay, and also if you see the 14th round scheduled in the Brussels in October, and there is deadline of December 2025 where they want to conclude the trade talks and finalize this free trade agreement. Okay, so this is the one context here. So if you say what is the economical stake or statistic involved in this particular aspect, okay, so the trades in goods, it is reached to the $137 billion in financial 23-25, and it is 90% increase over the past decade. So this is the significant achievement when it comes to India and European Union, and it amounts the India's 12% total trade. Okay, that makes European Union India's India's third largest trade partner. Okay, so also European Union is second largest investor. Okay, investor in India. So it around the 100 billion. So it is the second largest investor in India in 2023. Now the data has changed. But significant investment it does in India. So also European Union accounts over the 20% of India's IT service export. Okay, and India is the European Union's 10th largest trading partner. So when it comes to European Union is India's third largest, but India is the European Union's 10th largest trade partner. So don't get confused here. It is very important. Okay. So up you see this pre-trade agreement. Okay, it would be first major trade deal with the developed bloc. Okay, so previously we had one trade agreement with Australia, but this is going to be first major trade deal with the developed bloc. Okay, so we already have when it comes to country it is Australia, but when it comes to the bloc it is with European Union. Okay, so this is the basic statistic. Now we'll see what is the importance of this free trade agreement for India. So when it comes to strategic importance, it will help us diversifying the partnership. Currently, if you see when it comes to the USA is largest trade partner. We have the import dependency on China. So what is happening if there is certain uncertainty occurs? So ultimately, it will put India's interest into question. So that way, to avoid this, we have the chance to diversify our partnership. Also, when it comes to the technological and security cooperation, if you see it is boosting the India's Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, particularly defense sector, because it is supporting the dual European Union actively investing in India's domestic capacity, where it is purchasing the dual-use good. Okay, so these are the relevant aspect from this perspective. Also, when it comes to the energy security, India and European Union, they are collaborating on green hydrogen. Also, there are the European countries like Germany is there, which are the leaders in the renewable energy, particularly wind energy. So through this, we can collaborate on the energy security. Also, when it comes to defense industry collaboration, just I have talked, they are actively supporting India's Atmanirbhar Bharat through the investments. Also, they are purchasing the Indian produced equipments, okay, particularly dual-use equipments. So these are from this perspective, this block becomes very important. Now, when it comes to geopolitical perspective, this become important because of the Indo-Pacific strategy that is developed by European Union in 2021. Okay, and it is actively supporting India's this lobby that free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific. So it is supporting to India's this policy that free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific. And European Union sees India as to central to its Indo-Pacific policy. From that perspective, it is very important. Also, it is very important from the balancing the great power. Okay, we have seen that there is the rivalry between India and USA when it comes to the economical relations. Okay, also there is a struggle between Russia and USA on the strategic issues. So that time European becomes very important for us to have the stable and all-weather ally. So from that perspective, it is very important, and it becomes very important to pursue our strategic autonomy. So even if you see the USA and European Union is conflict on the Ukraine war, but still we are actively maintaining our strategic autonomy. We are concluding the trade deal, keeping aside what is our diplomatic relations are there with Russia. So through this, we are able to pursuing our strategic autonomy. From that perspective, it is very important. Also, it will help us to project global South leader, because we are going to be first country which will conclude the trade deal with the developed bloc. From that perspective, it has become very important as positioning ourselves as a global South leader. So from this geopolitical perspective, European Union and India's relations are very important. Also, from the economical importance, if we see what we'll get through the pre-trade deal, that is the market access. So this market access will get it 450 million consumer European market, and this consumer market majorly in the textile, okay, So from the textile, the technology, service related, where we sell the services to European. So what are the labor intensive country sectors are there? Like textile is there, leather is there. Okay. So our this labor intensive sector will get the access to 450 million consumer European market. Also, will able to correct the trade deficit. Okay, currently we have the 20 billion ka trade deficit with European Union. With the conclusion of free trade agreement, we can correct this trade deficit, and we can ensure that the free trade agreement will work in India's favor. Also, it will able to boost the MSME, because when we are concluding free trade agreement, there are certain chapter which helps in this small medium enterprise facilitation, digital trade, custom simplification, easy market entry. Okay, so on this aspect there are the certain chapter included which focus on this aspect. Okay, custom simplification, easy market, and this will be directly benefit to small business, so they can expand in European Union market. Okay, so also it will lead to employment creation, because if you see this particular where the free trade agreement, the focus, the where the focusing mostly are the labor intensive. Which are the labor intensive sectors are there? Currently if you see, the textile is there. Okay, again the leather. So these major the labor intensive sectors are there where this free trade deal is focusing, and through this we can have the more employment generation. Because of the increase in demand, it will lead to more production and more employment creation. So that perspective is become important. Also it will help us in FDI inflow. Okay, so it is being the second largest investor, okay, in last 2-3 years. So from that we can ensure that there is the stable FDI inflow from the Western countries. Okay, so the forex related issues are there, volatilities that can be reduced. From this economical perspective, because of this aspect, the relations are very important. Okay, next is the diplomatic importance. Okay, so why the diplomatic importance are there? Because it will help in deepening the Indo-European ties. Okay, so if you see the strategic partnership that built in 2004, and also there is connectivity partnership that concluded in 2021. Okay, so also in G20, when we presided over G20, that time we have seen that we have concluded one more connectivity pact, that is IMEC. So through this we are directly going to connect with the European Union or European Union market. So from that perspective, these relations are very important. Also it will helps in multilateral cooperation. So multilaterals like WTO is there, World Bank, okay, IMF is there, UN. So here it will help in the relations, the trade relations, also the geopolitical relations what we have with European Union, that will help in cooperation in multilateral forums. Also it will help in trust building between the two countries, because we are collaborating with the diverse aspect. We are collaborating with the trade issue, trade relations. We are collaborating Indo-Pacific policy. Okay, so there is the India is being the one of the largest immigration country for the European Union. So through this we can build the people to people contact better way. So it will increase the this trust building. Also it has the symbolic value, because we are going to be first country to conclude trade with free trade agreement with the developed countries. So it carries the significant symbolic value, and it will help in positioning the leader of the global south. So these are the all the importance that we have when we conclude the free trade agreement. But these all the importance are not less than any challenges. Okay, so there are certain challenges that we are going to face. First is going to be economical and sectoral challenges. So when it comes to the if we see the what we export most the European Union, that is the agriculture and related allied sectors are there. Fishery sector is there. So related what are the products we have that we export, and these particular products face the sanitary photosanitary measures when they go, and there will be struggle for the market access. That is the one economical challenge. Also there is the one more mechanism that European Union is bringing, that is carbon border management adjustment mechanism, and this particularly mechanism is going to impact on the India's textile, okay, India's steel, India's cement, and the chemical industries. So these are the major industry where we have the huge export basket when it comes to India and European, and these are the sectors which are going to be struggle because of this CBAM mechanism. Also, it is going to be impact you have the distributional impact. Okay, because if you see the textile sector, okay, other labor intensive sector, this most of the belongs to small and medium industry. So it is proportionately will impact this particular small and medium industries, and it will have the distributional impact on these emerging exporters. So that is one more concern. Also, when it comes to rule of origin, tariff liberalization, because if you see the what India's textile sector and other the steel sector, where it relies on the huge amount of inputs from the other country, and the stringent rule of origins that will hinder the India's ability to export more product to or diversify product to European Union. That is one more challenge. Also, when it comes to service and data flow, we have the data localization policy, and European Union it supports the data liberalization or the free flow of data. So there also we are going to face the lot of challenges. Okay. Also, when it comes to small medium industry and supply chain readiness, so because of the if you see the small volume, also the small production units, so these are going to face this supply chain readiness challenges, because if we how the we are going to conclude the trade agreement which will give us access to 450 million dollar ka market, and if you see the supply, there is issues with supply chain readiness of India. So that time we are going to face these challenges. Okay, we will not we may not able to tap it effectively. So this is one challenge. Also, there is political and domestic concern, because the political resistance, because it is going to include the agriculture, and particularly when it comes to the agriculture, it is much political sensitive area issue. When during the Indian Australia free trade agreement, we have seen there was the protest because of the inclusion of agri and dairy product. Okay, so this is going to be one more political challenges when it comes to the domestic. Also, there is perception of sovereignty, because we are going to conclude the multiple agreement which will decide the rules of origin. Okay, trade facilitation, these all. So there might be perception of erosion of the sovereignty, because ultimately this free trade agreement going to dictate the domestic law. So there is this issue might occur. Also, there would be regulatory and legal challenges. What will be regulatory? Because of the regulatory convergence and the precautions. Okay, so what are the European laws are there? European Unions, CBAM is there, other photosanitary measures are there. So these are going to be created regulatory challenges for us. Also, when it comes to investment, subsidy and state aid rules, okay, we have the certain scheme like PLI scheme is there. Okay, also we give the huge support to agriculture in India. So there and European Union is against this state support to this sector. So there also we are going to face these challenges. Also, when it comes to intellectual property and farm related, we are the largest exporter of generic medicine, and European Union they actively wants the exclusivity for their pharmas. Okay, so we have the we are against the evergreening policy. Okay, so after some time, 20 years, when they finish their patent right, we give the these patents to we release the patents for the generic medicine production. So and the European they wants to exclusivity for their pharmaceutical company. So this is the one more challenge we are going to face. And comes to implementation sequencing challenges, we are going to face the challenge which will lead to our capacity to meet standard. Okay, so when it is more related to infrastructure, so we have inadequate testing labs, certification and cold chain infrastructure. So whatever the standards that developed by European Union, due to this inadequate infrastructure, we are going to face challenges here also. Also, when it comes to dispute settlement transitional mechanism, there also would be challenges, because it is not yet included in the free trade agreement. So when it comes to dispute settlement, again there would be challenges because of the pro-West stance of the this arbitrary organization, arbitrary mechanisms. Okay, also the negotiation timeline there is. So there is timeline of December 2025, and this short timeline there might be some challenges where we might not able to conclude the treaty in our favor. So this is the one timeline related challenges. So these all are the challenges are there. So going forward, for the way forward, we need to work on two ground. Okay, so first we need to work on the negotiation strategy. So whatever ongoing negotiations are there, so there we need to work in very effective and aggressive way. So where we need to bring the phased and calibrated tariff liberalization. So certain sectors are there, the agriculture, dairy sector, we need to keep them outside from the free trade agreement for the certain period. So this is one thing we need to do. Also, when it comes to this carbon border adjustment mechanism and green transition package. So here we need to negotiate on tough basis, so we can secure the market for our cement, steel and textile industry. Also, addition to this, we need to push for some domestic reform, so we can match the standards and the other regulatory hurdles what are there when it comes to the access to European market, that can be reduced. So we need to upgrade the photosanitary and sanitary measure. We need to build the testing infrastructure. Also, we need to boost green industry policy, so we can align with the European Union's this carbon border adjustment mechanism. Also, we need to focus on the data protection law finalization, where we can collaborate, or we can give some predictability when it comes to the data localization law. So these are the way forward. There can be much more, but just these are the basic we need to bring it here. Okay, so these are two way we need to focus. One is the on the negotiation level only. Second is the domestic policy reform, so where we need to focus more. Okay, so next article, it's about the India and Israel. Okay, so yesterday only they have signed one first bilateral investment treaty, and this particular treaty is the for India. It is the first such pact with the OECD member. Okay, so India is not OECD member; it is associated member to OECD. Okay, so with this pact with Israel, we are going to be this for India. It is to be first pact with the OECD members. Okay, so currently bilateral investment that stands around the 800 million. Okay, so this particularly bilateral investment treaty, what it provides, it provides better investment protection. Okay, so against the expropriations, it brings the transparency, fair treatment for the investors from the both sides. Okay, also it gives them independent arbitration for the disputes when occurring after the investments. Okay, so also this particular agreement covers the fintech, infrastructure development, financial regulation, digital payment connectivity. So these are the certain facts about this bilateral investment treaty. So we are not restricting our discussion to this particular investment treaty. We are going to discuss India and Israel relations in holistic way. So when it comes to the India and Israel relation, there is a historical development. So if you are aware about the India got independent in 1947. Okay, and the same time in 1948, Israel established there. So the birth of India and Israel is at same time. And if you see the what led, we have faced the same issue, that is the partition issue. So Pakistan created out of India, and the Israel, the land was meant for the Jews, that was divided between Israel and the Palestine. So that was the issue. From this 48 in 1950, what happened? India recognized this Israel. Okay, so 1950 only India gave the recognition, but till 1992 there was no diplomatic development between two countries because of the frequent Arab and Israel wars. Okay, so that time India had the non-alignment policy, and majorly the Israel was associated with USA and the Arab countries with Russia. So India chose to stay away from this the Cold War era. So that's why there was the no development. So but in 1992 India established formal diplomatic relations with Israel, and this time India started its much famous dehyphenated policy. So it started dealing with Israel as well as Palestine on independent way. Okay, so this started dehyphenated policy. So this we got fruits in the 1999 during the Kargil war, because Israel has given us this defense support. Okay, they exported many defense equipment, defense arms and equipment. So that time, so this was the fruit we got after establishing diplomatic relation. Also, when it comes to the Indian Pakistan relation, Israel is firm supporter for India's claim on the Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So Israel being all-weather ally for India from the 1992. So the next breakthrough got in 2017, where India and Israel both established strategic partnership. So that time the relation was described as the marriage in a heaven. So from that onward, we all aware about the how the we are going closeness with Israel on the different aspect, be it geopolitical, when it comes to Israel's right over the land there. Also, we are supporting the Palestine cause there. So this way we are balancing, but also we have established strategic partnership with the Israel from in 2017. So this is the brief account on the historical development between India and Israel. So next is the we are going to discuss why the Israel is important from us. We are going to see from the strategic and geopolitical perspective, because it helps in India to maintain dual track policy. That is nothing but DI penetrative policy. We are simultaneously we are supporting the claim of the Palestine to have the independent land there. Also, we are supporting the Israel also. Okay, to its capacity to fight against the terrorism. Okay, so we are able to pursue our this DI penetrative or dual track policy. Also, Israel has been the all-weather ally. So all the time during Kargil war, it is supported us through the arms and equipments. Okay, so also it has been supporter of India in the UN and other forums when it comes to the India and Pakistan issue. So it has been the all-weather ally for us. Also, when it comes to the defense security cooperation, just I discussed, it is given during wartime. Also, if you see the defense export from the Israel to Israel, it stands between 2.9 billion. Okay. So this is the huge defense export we have, and in fact, the Israel is third largest defense exporter to India, and also certain missiles, the Barak 8 missile that is support given by the exported by the Israel to India. So from that perspective, it is very important. Also, we have the shared concern on the terrorism, water scarcity, cyber threats. Okay, so terrorism in the sense Israel also fighting against the Hamas, the Houthi rebels. Okay. Even the Hezbollah. So Israel is fighting terrorism. India is also we have also suffering from the terrorism sponsored by the Pakistan. So we have the same concern when it comes to water security. India is the Middle East country where the only one river flows to there. Also there is the shortage of fresh water. So same concern our interior part of India is faced. Also the cyber threats there also we are shared concerns. Also it helps in India's balancing the geopolitics in West Asia. Okay, because India is aligning with the Iran, also the other Arab countries as well as Israel. So we are focusing on the balancing the West Asia. So this from that perspective, Israel is very crucial for India. Also, we are partnering I2 E2 forum, that is India, Israel, US and UAE, where we are trying to normalize. We are actively involved in USA-led efforts where we are helping USA to normalize the tie between the Arab countries and the Israel. So from that perspective, our relations with Israel are very crucial. Also, when it comes to economical and people-to-people exchange, if we see the bilateral trade, trade it stands on the 3.9 billion. Okay, it is excluding the defense. If we excluded defense here, included defense, it will add 2.9 billion dollar. Okay, so this is we have the huge trade. Defense trade compared to the other trade. Okay, also Israel is a leading FDI source, and basically it is invest in the high tech joint investments. Okay, so and it is continuously growing, so that is one economical benefit we have. Also, when it comes to labor participation in 2023, India has sent nearly 42,000 construction workers to Israel. So from that we are able to build the strong people-to-people contact. Okay. Also, when it comes to the agriculture and technological collaboration, India and Israel, there is the project called India and Israel project. It is initiated in 2006, and it is working on the developing center of excellence. It is helping developing central excellence in India, which will focus on the irrigation, increasing agriculture productivity, increasing agriculture production. Okay, again the water treatment, all these agriculture related issues that we are focusing to resolve this, we have established center of excellence through this India-Israel agriculture project. Okay, so from this perspective, economical and people-to-people perspective, it is very important. But again, is the India? If you see the Israel's extreme stand on the all the aspect, there is the strategic geopolitical challenges. When it comes to strategic challenges, we have the over reliance on the defense import. Okay, so if you see the 3.9 billion our export is there, and when it comes to the defense export, it stands on 2.9 billion. So we have the huge defense import from the Israel. Okay, so that is one cause of concern. Also, there is technology transfer limitation. So Israel technology choose very selectively. So technology transfer, they are very cautious. So that is the one issue is there. Also, we have the cyber security vulnerability. So because of the Israel's excellence in the cyber security, the Pegasus issue, you are all are aware about this. So that time we have seen the there is the vulnerability when we deal with the Israel on the cyber security. So there are the might be Israel led while surveillance in India. So Pegasus is one of the example. Okay, so these are the strategic issues we have. When it comes to geopolitical challenges, the major issue is balancing the West Asia policy, because if you see that there is the Iran and Saudi Arabia led, Arab is there, and they are constantly in conflict with the Israel. Okay, so we have the very close relations with the Iran because of the we able to purchase the cheap oil. Also, when it comes to connectivity to European Union, international north-south transport corridor is there. Also for connectivity Central Asia, Chabar port agreement is there. From that perspective, Iran is very crucial, and to balance the tie, Israel is very crucial, and they often comes in conflict. So that time it was the geopolitical challenges to our policies. Okay, West Asia policy. Though this is the one cause of concern. Also, if you see there is Arab sensitivity. Okay, because of the issue, our huge diaspora that lives in Arab countries. Okay, so if you are aware about the 2 years back, there was the Nupur Sharma controversy. She made one statement that time our diaspora in the Middle East countries that came into threat. Okay, some groups they posed threat to them. So there is the sensitivity when it comes to our relations with Israel. So the people will that is supporting the Palestine, the Israel against its war against the Palestine. So there might be create the distance between when it comes to people. Ultimately it will impact the bilateral relations with the Arab countries. So that is one issue. Also the US factor, because our closeness with Israel. Okay, it is led by the USA. So USA led forum that EU2 is there. There we are collaborating with USA as well as the Arab countries. So there is the challenge to our strategic autonomy as well as our capacity to conclude our ties independently. So these are the this is the one more challenge. Also when it comes to regional instability, because if we see Israel is continuously come in conflict with many rebel groups. Okay, in north it has conflict with Lebanon based Hezbollah. In Israel only, in Gaza it is in conflict with the Hamas. Okay, again it gone with war with Iran also it is in conflict with the Yemen based Houthi rebels. So there is quite a regional instability, and that might impact our this particularly bilateral trade relations, also geopolitical, also the connectivity project that IMEC corridor is there. It going to pass through Israel. Okay, and due to this regional instability, it might halt the development there also. So these are the geopolitical challenges we have. When it comes to economical challenges, we have the low trade volume. Okay, so we have the huge defense export, but other trade it stands on the 3.9 billion only. Okay, so when compared to the European Union, US and China, they have the comparatively huge trade volume when compared to the India. So that is one cause of concern. Also market access issue, because of the again the sanitary photosanitary, okay, other standardization related issue. For that's why we have the market related issues. Okay, also FDI imbalance. Okay, Israel firms are selectively invest. Okay, that we have just talked just I have talked. Okay, they invest mostly on the high tech companies. Okay, instead of the investing in small medium, or also the investment coming from Israel is not diversified. So this is one of the cause of concern. Also when it comes to labor mobility related concern, because we have sent the 42,000 construction workers into Israel. So seeing the current situation in Israel, that war torn condition where our laborers or the diaspora in Israel as well as the Arab, it is in vulnerable condition. So this is one more cause. Again, when it comes to diplomatic and soft power challenges, the Palestine question, it would be evergreen when we'll conclude our relations with Israel. Okay, whenever our political leaders or we India collaborate with Israel, that time the question posed is what about the Palestine? So this is the challenge when we pursue our DIP policy. Also, if you see the global image management, okay, so India is against the terrorism, India is with the humanitarian rights, and currently what Israel is doing in Hamas, the mass huge starvation is there, also the displacement, where there is the perception that Israel is violating humanitarian rights, okay, and disrupting humanitarian aids, and India being the principal country always supporting human rights violation, human rights, okay, across the world. So there is also global image management, challenge to global image management when we conclude the India and Israel relations. Okay, also there is diaspora sensitivity. Just I have talked about we have the huge diaspora in the Arab countries. Okay, so if our growing ties with the Israel, that cause of concern for the diaspora, as well as it will keep the diaspora too vulnerable. So this is one more. Also the ideological conversion risk. Okay, this is the one more new challenges that occurring recent time, because if you see the what is happening, the Indians or the political spectrum in India, it is ideologically converging with Israel. So there is the challenge of the maintaining this ideological balance or ideological neutrality while concluding the our diplomatical global geopolitical relations. So this is one more cause of concern. Also, if you see what could be with the way forward. So if we have seen the geopolitical, strategic, as well as the economical challenge. We have seen the importance from that perspective also. So considering all these aspects, we need to focus on the diversify our relations beyond the defense. Okay, we need to collaborate Israel with other potential areas such as agriculture is there. Okay, other technology development, R&D related. So where Israel spend the huge amount, 7% of their GDP. So where there we can collaborate with Israel. Also, we need to maintain West Asia. Particularly, we need to balance, okay, West Asia relations with Arab country as well as Israel. So we need to pursue strategic autonomy. Certain our principles are there which you are maintaining from the long time that we need to maintain. So there, this one can be way forward when it comes to balancing or maintaining neutrality. Also, we need to scale up economical ties. Again, when it comes to the trade relations, we need to diversify. Through that, we can intensify the economical ties. Again, the infrastructure projects are there. Okay. Israel also want to develop new canal alternative to Suez Canal. Also, the IMEC corridor is there. Through that, we can again collaborate to intensify our economical ties. Again, we need to focus on people-centric diplomacy. Okay, rather than the ideologically converging or the only aligning with the political class, we need to focus on the people-centric diplomacy, which can bring the build to the people-to-people contact and create the soft power vacuum for the India in Israel. Also, we need to calibrate a strategic cooperation. So here we need to be very cautious when we conclude the geopolitical relation with Israel. Not our closeness with Israel should not be decided by the USA or other country. We need to pursue our strategic autonomy. Okay, so this is all about the India and Israel relations, where we have seen the way forward here. Okay, next we are going to see the Nepal protest, particularly led by the GenZ. Okay, so GenZ is the generation which the people born after 1997, they called GenZ. Okay, GenZ. So these people have protested because of the ban on 26 media platform, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, all these media platform. Because these particular social media platform, they have not aligned with the cabinet mandate. Okay, so that's why they have banned, and this led to GenZ protest, okay, that is erupted nationwide against the free of expression as well as the corruption done by the political class there. And these protests led to death of 19 to 20 people, okay, hundreds are injured. Also, they have declared emergency curfew. So this particularly created the ethical issues there. Okay, so we'll discuss this from ethical perspective. Now we'll see from the ethical perspective. The first question is whether it is balancing human rights and freedoms. So we all know there is universal right of the free speech. Okay, so this is the not constitutional, but it is universal right, and it is very crucial from the when we see it from the perspective of the human right. So it is being the one part of the human right. So from that perspective, this state action on the protest was unlawful. So this is the one ethical issue. Also, the access of information to social media platforms been the major parts when it comes to access of information, and this access of information is the crucial part of the democratic participation. Okay, so information is a new oil. or the data is new oil, it is often says because of this perspective. And democratic participation is very crucial if you want to build inclusivity in democracy. Unless democracy will be unworkable, so the access of information is very crucial. Also the proportionality and rule of law. Okay, political class, the political spectrum, they have the certain rights to do, but ultimately they what they are doing, it should be mandated by the constitution, and also from the ethical perspective it should be right. Okay, so the proportionality, the banning on the social media site, it is unproportional, okay, or the unprofessional you can say, and also it is not according to rule of law. So the banning, this what the Nepal government done, they have brought the one regulation through the cabinet resolution. So that was the unacceptable, because there need to be certain law which can dictate this particular aspect. So this is the violation of rule of law also. Also it is leading to lack of accountability and public welfare. So currently we have seen the social media is the biggest source of the information, and it is used to keep the political class or the executive accountable to the people. The protest on the social media is the new form of protest or new social movement that is occurring through the social media. So the holding the political class accountable to the people, the social media is the must. Okay, also it is neglecting public welfare, because it is again the source of information for the people on the welfare scheme, or the information that need to strive or increase their quality of life. From that perspective, this ban on the social media site, it was unjustified. Also if you see the youth empowerment, the major protester were GenZ, that is the youth. And if you see civic worship, the protests reflect the generational consciousness. Okay, so social media site or social media platforms are the very crucial when see the new generation, the coming new generation. So the protest, it reflecting the generational consciousness. Also it demand for the moral governance, because it is again not only for ban against the social media, it is for the corruptions. Okay, corruption done by the politicians. If you see that there is instability in this Nepal, where from last 2 years there is a shifting in alliances. Okay, so these are all the question, the moral governance. Okay, morality in politics. So this is the one more aspect here. Also it is lacking the ethical governance, which includes the digital literacy. Okay, it includes the inclusive dialogues, because before banning it was solely based on the cabinet resolution. It is not discussed or had conducted dialogue with the social civil societies or other organization. Also it is not considered the youth voices. Okay, so generational consciousness is there, it is neglected totally. So because of this, because of the ban, these are the ethical implications or ethical issues are occurred. So when it comes to the way forward, what need to do? We need to focus on restorative justice. Okay, so there need to be transparent inquiry, compensation. Okay, criminal and safe operation for the protester. So the right to protest, that is the constitutional or universal right, is there, that need to be upheld. So restorative justice is much. Also there need of the law before regulation. So the rule of law should be there, it should not be ruled by the law. So that is the one aspect need to consider. Also when it comes to the there need of ethical framework for the social media, it doesn't mean social media works on the ethical way. There would be certain promotion, the violence promotion, hate speech that is promoted by the social media. For that we need ethical framework. Also there need to be police citizen rapport. If you see the death toll that gone to 20, okay, so that is because of the lack of a rapport between the police and the citizens. Okay, the excessive use of force, that need to be reduced. Okay, so from that perspective, this citizen and police report is important, because merely acting on the executive order, it is unjustified. Their consciousness of the police or the security agency is the must when they act. Okay, so this is all from the ethical perspective. I wanted to discuss this particular article, and this is for the today. I have discussed the 2 articles from the international relations perspective, that is one Indian European and Free Trade Agreement, secondly Indian Israel. Also we have discussed the new Russian vaccine, that I have discussed briefly, and fourth one I have discussed this particular article from the ethical perspective. So I'm finishing discussion. Tomorrow I will come with articles that come in the Hindu and Indian Express, that we will discuss exclusively from the men's perspective. Thank you very much.